All right, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Hope all is well. Let me go on over here to this screen. What's going? Brian Powell, Adrian Vinn in the building. What's going on, man? Crush the legend. What's happening? It says Lou Fannon, Freddie Brain, Ben Warped. Yeah, but you got to say what you got to say to get your guy, to get your guy ready to perform. Wait for people to get in the chat. Slow morning this morning. But yeah, Freddie Roach said that it's saying what he's supposed to say, and he's trying to get Manny Pacquiao ready for this fight, but it doesn't sound, honestly, man, in the background of it, it kind of sounds like a get ready to retire party. Like this is the last time around, get this big paycheck, and then call it a day. We'll wait for some people to get into the chat before we really get into the conversation. For the people that are here, man, I hope all is well with you. And I hope that you guys enjoy this weekend coming up from this, and which we do not have very much boxing going on. Man, this is kind of slow. I do believe that I'm live. Dwayne Jones said, blessings up from Atlanta. Shaky Roach need to stop talking. Yeah, man. It is funny, man. With Freddie Roach, dude, I would have sworn like a long time ago that Freddie Roach was going to be up out of there, man. True Blue, what's going on with you, man? How you feeling? Mo City Menace in the building. I would have thought that Freddie Roach would have been done and retired from boxing like a long time ago, man, with that Parkinson. But it just seems like he just got to a certain level with that infliction, and just kind of stayed there. Big Block, salute to you, man. What's going on? We gonna wait till there's some people in the chat. We got 26 people in the like. Hit the like as you guys on your way in. We gonna wait till we get to the majority of it. Brian Powell. I do not get that him being a flat-footed fighter shit. Brian Powell, you got your. I agree. Spence is a one-trick pony. What's the trick? Flat-footed power puncher. That fool never uses the ring. What the fuck are you talking about? Up on his toes, snapping the jab. Boots Ennis beats the shit out of Spence. I mean, I guess if you want to say that, but I don't. Just because he doesn't fight like that doesn't mean that that's the only way that you can fight. Obviously he's been very, very effective in what he's doing. Mo City said Freddie trying to avoid Errol, and now conveniently he's not a good fighter, a good boxer. Man, no doubt about it. True Blue said, man, he was killing me with that interview. He can't be Manny's trainer. Yeah, he is, man. He's just like, he's got that Parkinson, man, and he's got his voice shaking or whatever. But like I said, man, I would have thought that he would have been out of there a long time ago, man. By the way, I wanted to ask you guys. No, I'll leave that a little bit, man. What's going on, Nell's son? What's going on, man? He said, "What up, my dude? Happy Friday, salute." Yeah, salute to you, man. Just sitting here chopping it up, waiting for people to get into the chat. Ask some questions though of me, man, because that is the first conversation. Like I say in the beginning of all of these live streams, the subject matter of the video, that's just the initial conversation. Make sure you guys ask me questions, and we can take this conversation anywhere you guys want to do it. Dwayne Freeman said, for 9, Spence is very versatile and can adapt to any style. For me, the thing about Errol Spence Jr. is that he's basically got an approach that is very it's very hard to break that style, man. That constant pressure with very good defense at the same time. That's a very hard pressure. That's a hard pressure to overcome. My man, boxing fan, U.S. Puerto Rico. Good morning, Fannon and the boxing chat. It's Friday, boxing talk underway. Hit that like button. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Musa Hamak, my man out there from Australia, he said, hey, Fannon, hi from Australia, bro. When are we both going to Turkey and to do a high transplant? What is that? What is a hay transplant, man? He said it's very cheap and effective process there. Hey, man, I ain't trying to transplant shit. I'm trying to keep what I got. I ain't trying to. I go through surgeries. Hell no. Oh, a hair transplant. You talking about a hair transplant, man? Ben Israel in the building. He says, Shalom, Fannon, August 21st, the great retirement party for Senator and 8 division champ, Pac-Man, man down for life. Hair transplant, yeah, man, I ain't transplanting nobody's fucking hair onto my head, dog. I am bald for life. Hashtag bald for life, man. What's going on for Blackwell Jr.? The fight might not happen. Manny getting sued for 3.3. No, that fight's gonna happen. They're not gonna hold it up. They've already, I think, pretty much that they already issued they already denied the temporary restraining order. So it looks like that fight is gonna go. The fight is gonna be good, man. I didn't do a video about that. I needed to do a video about that. I intended to do a video about it. Yeah, it said hashtag get bald for life, man. That's it. I ain't gotta go. Cause see, here's the thing about being bald, man. Man, you know, shit. For me, people, I shit look just as I think I look dang near better without hair than I do with hair. I get the more of the Yul Brynner look, you know. Vils, oh man, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Vernon Forrest. You think a Vernon Forrest style could be Spence? Man, Vernon Forrest I don't know, man. Vernon Forrest, I think he had Shane Mosley's number, but when he lost to Mayorga like that, he kind of dropped his stock kind of dropped in my eyes, man. Kitty Peeps, suddenly Roach has so much to say, but we the diehards remember you didn't want Manny nowhere near Spence. I haven't forgotten. Cheerio. Oh, you know that. He didn't want anywhere. He wanted him to fight. He wanted to fight Mikey Garcia, man. Desi, hold on, let me go on over here, man, so I can see this. Oh, by the way, man, we got 111 people in the building, man. Come on, let's get the likes up. Bill Chill. So what if, okay, here, I'm sorry. Where'd you go? Fannon, good morning from Seattle. My niece said, I'm so bald, she can see my thoughts. Bald heads are king. Look, man, here's my thing, dude. You get exactly. Cy Gray said, I'm 45, been bald since 23. Ladies love the baldy. Man, I ain't never had no woman have no problem with my hair, man, being bald. Like, I was married before I shaved all my hair off, but I mean, it wouldn't have made any difference. I cut my hair dang near to a bald fade before, and you know, women like my hair, man. Women ain't big on that, man. Kandahari Alak, salute Fannon. Many people are counting out Manny because of his age. 42 years old today are not the same as 42 years old a few decades ago. 42 is 42, man. Like, I hear that, but 42 is 42. And you're going to, especially when you've been a professional fighter for 26 years. I mean, or not, is it 20? How long has he been? Like, I think he's been like 26 years. He said nutrition coupled with nutrition may negate the age factor. Yeah, I don't want. I'm not gonna go there on him. You know what I mean? But it's the same as the same, man. Much love in that super chat, my man. Musa Hamad. He said, Fannon, yeah, I agree on the bald view. Just playing, bro. Roach is very biased, and I believe that he dodged Terrence Bud Crawford. What's your take on that? You know what? People are telling me that they signed the contract for Terrence Bud Crawford, but I know that he would rather have had him fight I thought it was the guy that they wanted to have him fight. They wanted Freddie Roach. The guy that Freddie Roach wanted Manny Pacquiao to fight was Mikey Garcia. So they were looking for a smaller guy, somebody that may have been coming off of a loss. You know, that type of routine, you know. Fahim said nutrition. Now PEDs do help eliminate the age factor. Until that is, they don't work anymore. My understanding is that, you know, that if you use them things long enough, that they'll stop, your body will adjust and they'll stop being effective. We still gotta love the roster dread and Baldy. Yeah, what Nate Jeff, excuse me. That's because you got that. That's because you got it, man. That's because I see you got it. But there was a comment that I was gonna get to. True Blue. They all talk about what EJ going to do with Manny's speed, but should be asking what Manny's going to do with Spence all night, coming and putting that pain on him. That's the big difference for the fight for me, man, from what I can see. Man, much love in that super chat, man. To the MD 2020 Bandit. He said, thanks for coming on, Fannon, with that boxing talk. Oh, and I got that onyx black hair for days. Women like that shit. Now, hey, I ain't gonna lie, women do like hair. If you got what women consider to be pretty hair, they definitely like that. But you know, I was never blessed what women would call, you know, pretty hair. So I can always rock with Team Baldy. And exactly, it's like my man right here, man. Vincent Gallimore said, hashtag Vincent Team Baldy. All day. You got to be proud of who you are, man. You got to be proud of who you are. My man Musa Hamak said, Fannon, what will happen to Sprince's career if he loses to Manny? Much love in the super chat. He'll be a contender. He'll be a contender. Same thing that happens with everybody. If they lose, he'll take a step back and be a contender. You know? Fahim Sator said, Team Baldy. Yes, sir, man. Just got to let it go, man, and be okay with it. Now, I might grow my beard back because, you know, women like my wife. I got to stop saying women. My wife like my white beard, so I might get to push that back, but I just went all the way hairless all on my head, man. Melvin P said, I believe EJ will face some adversity in this fight, maybe a flash knockdown, but I have AJ pulling it out in the later rounds. Yeah, I don't see that, man. I don't see the flash knockdown happening because I don't see Manny Pacquiao really having enough time to leap in and catch you when you kind of falling back, because that's what he does for a lot of those flash knockdowns, is that he jumps in and you're trying to step back, but you can't get out of the way of him falling back. SG Slaughter, you know what you're doing? I'm looking crazy without a beat. Man, get the fuck up out of here, man. I ain't gonna block you, dog. I ain't even gonna block you, dog. He says, sup, Noop, facts, your wife. Yeah, exactly. I gotta stick to it, man. James Hill in that super, give me on that payday super chat. Thank you so much, man. He said, good morning, King. Happy Friday to the chat. Keep bringing that positive energy to the channel. Shout out to my kids at Village Gate Boxing Club. Hold on, let me get Village Gate Boxing Club. Shout out to the kids at the Village Gate Boxing Club. I'm at work, going to enjoy this boxing talk. Yes, sir. Thank you, man. We're going to talk it. Mr. Hamka. Fannon, women love the ball look. The face is focused on instead of the hair. Yeah, you know, I don't get this cat said I look crazy without a beard, man. First of all, Why you scoping me with? You know how long I had a beard? I had a beard for, you've just never seen me without the beard. It takes some getting used to when somebody takes their beard off. But Kitty Peep said that this dude sounds suspect as hell speaking on a man's beard. Yeah, man, like, dog, I've had a beard. I've only had exactly Team Black Coneheads. Man, you guys are hilarious, man. Manny's team and the media are trying to get inside of Spence's head. Dude, I think they can chalk that up to ain't gonna happen, dog. Ain't no way. First of all, Errol Spence and them guys doesn't even sound like they pay too much attention to the media. They're not giving a bunch of interviews and having people all in their camp. They seem like they're really focused on business. And Manny Pacquiao's in the middle of a circus. Man, that dude loves. I mean, you told me I look crazy without a beard. That's, I'll let you see personally, Mr. Slaughter, I'll let you slide on that. Just personally. However, I have to say, generally speaking negatively on a man's appearance or fawning on a man's, either way you go it, in this chat tends to have you looked at, man. Great, we got a question in the building. What do you think are the similarities between Spence and Margarito? Since Team Pack keeps using that comparison, I think Spence is a different breed from Margarito. Well, the comparison is that they're both very tall. One, Antonio Margarito is 5'11". He's listed as 5'11", but I don't really think he's that tall. He looked closer to 5'10", especially when you saw him in there with Paul Williams. But he's tall, and he is a come forward fighter. I got you. Hey, Slaughter, I was like, we all good, man. We all good. Hey, look, let me tell you, man, I appreciate everybody that comes by the chat. I appreciate everybody that watches a video. You guys is all good with me. It's hard to get me. Yeah. Yeah, they both will come forward. Yeah, I agree with that. And they both come forward, and they're going to keep coming forward. They keep coming forward. Mr. De Niro said, I wonder if Manny drinking his pee like he did preparing for Floyd. Man, do you know of all the things that it look really crazy to me? He said he's a really good boxer. He said he was... Okay, he said he's a really good boxer. Okay, here, let me edit that. All right. I don't have time to research that, even though I'm pretty sure I know what they said. Okay. There you go. Man, Bumpy Thompson in the building. What's good, man? Always good to see you. Mr. Ong. See, I went on ahead and corrected, but I do believe that I know I heard what I heard. And it was not that he was a good boxer. He's talking about that he's talking about the things that Errol Spence can't do. Yes, man, hit the like button. We have 200 people in the building. We should have 200 likes. That would be awesome. Juan Manuel Marquez was the one who drank his pee. What do they think that they're gonna get from drinking their pee? Like, is that something like you're supposed to like be like you already have processed minerals and stuff? Like, How about you just take a vitamin or some shit? Fannon, do you think Manny will retire if he loses, or if he wins, do you think he'll keep fighting? I think that he's going to keep fighting regardless. I think if he wins, he's going to keep fighting, and I think if he loses, he's going to keep fighting. I think Manny Pacquiao is addicted to the adoration of that boxing ring. That's what it looks like to me, because he's earned enough money where he could have already retired. So, I mean, the fact that he's fighting somebody like like Errol Spence, if he loses, unless he gets knocked out cold, there's going to be an excuse for why he loses the fight. You know? Errol seems slow in speech, talking than ever. Has a car affected his brain? Man, I don't think he's not speaking any more slowly than he's ever. And that, you know what that is? That's a Texas accent and new teeth. Because in the car accident, he had his teeth knocked out, and he had to get new teeth put in, and that's gonna affect the way that you speak. You know, I've heard that with other people when they get those implants or they get veneers, it changes the way that their voice sounds a little bit because you got it's doing different. But as far as like it's the how fast he speaks, he's always spoke slow, and he has a southern accent. He has a very heavy Dallas accent. So that's just a regional thing. And people from outside the United States talk a lot about that. But some people just speak slower than other people, man. You know, and those implants. Mad Dog, the MD 2020 said he has that Texas grammar, man. Hey, man, I saw some shit that was hilarious about Batman, and this dude kept trying to say Batman. Hey, Batman. He said, say Batman. He said, Batman. Alan Ty, yes, okay. Now, do you got something you want to say do you got anything to say other than that? I'm a Spence fanboy. Okay, what else you want to say? I'm a fan of Errol Spence Jr. I don't deny that at all. He absolutely is one of my favorite fighters. He seems like he's a really good kid. He's a very, very good fighter. Unlike the rest of these, unlike a whole lot of other people, he's actually giving people exciting fights. He's not just sitting on it and talk. He's not doing a Canelo and fighting a bunch of people that I don't want to see him fight. I mean, Errol Spence Jr. is fighting a bunch of people that people want to see fight. What's the problem? You know, and yes, Desi Bryant, I'm a fan of boxing, 100%. But I will say at the same time, dude, I'm a fan of Errol Spence. Absolutely, I am. That doesn't mean that I'm blind. Like if I was saying, oh, Errol Spence is about to fight Arthur Beterbiev, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, I have Errol Spence in that fight against Arthur Beterbiev. I wouldn't say that. Arthur Beterbiev's too big. If Errol Spence Jr. is doing something that I don't think is wrong. What's going on, Jarrell Adams, man? I am chilling, man, talking boxing to you guys this fine, fair morning. If he was doing something that I thought was like getting caught for performance-enhancing drugs and stuff like that, then absolutely I would say something about him, man. But I think so far the dude has been nothing but a model champion, you know? And I'm happy about that. And on top of it, he's a very popular fighter, and I like to talk about fighters that other people want to talk about. You know, it's just what it is. Johnny Nevermind says, Spence is pound for pound. And by the way, I see you, Musa Hamaka. I don't think I'm ducking you. I'm not. I'm just going to spread it around to a couple other people, then I'm going to come back to your question. He says, Spence is the pound for pound because of his resume. He's taken all the hard fights at the same time. I just left the Philippines, and I'm rooting for the old man. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. You can root for the old man. There ain't nothing wrong with being, a fan of a fighter, man. There's nothing wrong with being a Manny Pacquiao fan. Manny Pacquiao has been giving a lot of people very exciting fights, good fights throughout his career. And hey, nothing wrong with that, dude. So calling somebody a fan is like, dude, what am I supposed to not like him? You know, doesn't make exactly a friend. I'm a fan, but not delusional. Heck no, because I don't like. For example, one thing that I have an issue with Errol Spence. The only thing that I have an issue with Errol Spence with is that whole Keith Thurman thing. I think he should fight Keith Thurman. I don't think he should hold on to the fact that he didn't get Thurman didn't give him a fight before he lost. He just, hey, he didn't give you a fight before he lost, but now he's an opponent. He's a qualified opponent. He's a qualified contender. And if everybody else is gone, I mean, why not fight him? Even though I know more than likely Errol Spence Jr. is moving up in weight, which will, render that whole conversation moot. Musa Hamka. Fannon, what do you think about Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade as a boxer? Can he beat the Charlo brothers and Canelo? I think very highly of Boo Boo Andrade as a boxer. Very highly as a boxer. And absolutely, I think he has the ability to beat Charlo, and he has the ability to beat Canelo. Now, I'm not going to say, though, that I know that he's going to win either of those fights, but I think the better chance, I think that he is a nightmare for Canelo Alvarez. Let me put it that way. I think that southpaw is exactly what they do not want Canelo Alvarez to see. A southpaw with very, very good movement, with pop in both. They got pop in both hands. I think that's something that they don't want him to see. That's what I would say. If this was true, he wouldn't have got past Danny Garcia. He wouldn't have got past Kell Brook. He wouldn't have got past Sean Porter. He's a bit overrated, in my opinion. Slow head movement. He doesn't have slow head movement. He just prefers to parry. He prefers to parry his shots versus slipping them. He's excellent and very quick parrying his shots. So his defense is a lot better, man, than people give it. But because he's not wasting a lot of energy and fighting on the outside. He's a pressure fighter, so he's got very good defense on the inside. It's very, very hard to get a clean shot. It's very hard to get a clean shot on Spence. Very hard to get. I mean, think about how often you really see Spence get hit flush more than one time. And honestly, how many times you really see him get flushed when he's out of position defensively? Maybe like he get hit in the middle of some exchanges like he did with Sean Porter. But Sean Porter is a guy that hit him about as much as I can remember him having been hit. Kareem Banks in the build. E-Banks in the building. I agree, but Thurman has nothing to offer. If Thurman gets that belt that's available to force an undisputed showdown, no doubt about it. Look, man, I just want to see. The reason that I say it is because I want to see the fight, and I think it's a good fight to be made. I would love to see the fight. Like, as far as what belts are there and who gets paid what, in this particular instance, it's not related to what I'm saying. I just think that it could be one of the best fights that it could be made at 147. And I remember calling for the fight so much and everybody talking for the fight and trying to force the fight that now when the fight actually has the ability to be made, that it looks like it's not going to happen. That's just a little bit sad to me. This is true. Oh, is it? Where did this go? Spence, no, I forgot it. I miss it. Spence sits down on his punches. If he does that against Pacquiao, he's going to sit down on his punches, dog. He's going to sit down on his punches. He's going to get hit by Pacquiao. That's not a doubt, man. He's going to get hit. And Manny Pacquiao's going to get hit a lot by Errol Spence. That's the thing, man. Mr. Hamka, you take advantage of that, Fannon, and that ain't nothing to be ashamed of. And I see I got my man down here that did it too. Fannon, I believe people like Canelo forget how famous they became when they fought a famous fighter, Floyd, which elevated his fan status. They're afraid of losing their fame to a non-famous fighter. Yeah, I mean, look, Canelo Alvarez is making his money, man. And ain't no shame in making your money. And, if that's you as a person. But that's nothing that I want to see. I want to see him fight better fighters, man. Because this crap he's fighting, I'm not down. Brian James said, Fannon, Canelo fights uncompetitive fights that nobody wants to see for less money. Less money than who? Less money than, man, that guy's getting like $30 million a fight off the people that he's fighting in the zone. And those guys are people that he can beat, and he can run 5, 6. He's run like, what, 4 or 5 of them off already? At $20 million. He's made $100 million not fighting nobody. And if, that can get addicting, making that kind of money and not facing any kind of risk. And there's a chance that he's lost a step. No doubt about it. That's what I'm talking about right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. CG Cap. I just don't get the argument that he's too pound for pound when he won't get in there with people that allow him to show the skill set that warrant that. Look, the pound for pound listings are completely a marketing ploy, man. I think that coffee is old. The pound for pound list is something that is really meant, like Ring Magazine is owned by Oscar De La Hoya. So they're in bed with that. ESPN is in bed for the most part with Top Rank. So, I mean, it's just for marketing. I don't think these guys really want to have a system, or they're trying to really find a system where you can figure out, who really is the best fight, because, if they did, they would do it a different way. But maybe one of these days, boxing will get, I hope it doesn't get desperate enough, but it's just terrible. Yeah. That whole concept is nothing but a marketing ploy. White Tiger, if Spence defeats Pacquiao and Canelo, he could be a superstar in boxing. He is better than Floyd. That's what Manny said. Yeah, I think Manny was sticking it to I think Manny Pacquiao is being political right there. But I get that, man. Lawrence RBE. What's going on, Lawrence RBE? Fannon, do you think the WBA will give the belt back to Manny for the Spence fight? No, they already ruled on that. They said no go. That was already ruled at, and they said not gonna happen, dog. Man, Copper Aborigines said pound for pound belongs to Sugar Ray Robinson. To clear it for y'all's history, study Ray Robinson. Yeah, but you know how it is, man. They'll run with it and say whatever they gotta say. They'll just run with it because it helps sell. It gives them something that they didn't have. Man, my man Musa Hamka in that super chat. Much love. He said, Fannon, James Toney is the only one who literally proved pound for pound from middleweight all the way to the heavyweight. What do you think of him? He is in my James Toney is in my top 5 favorite fighters to watch of all time. Love James Toney, man. Wish there was somebody else that fought like James Toney that was in boxing today, man. The closest guy that fights like James Toney when he's on is Canelo. Canelo's got a little James Toney in him, especially with all, with his rolls, his upper body movement, and how slick he is with his upper body. But James Toney was something special, man. He says, that true, but we have to reteach our younger brothers our truth. You ain't no lying, man. Ellie Shell. Fannon, salute OG. Keep doing what you're doing, reaching a lot of people, and your content is really good and authentic. Thanks, 100. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. I try to come with the real stuff. The best that I can, man. What do you mean? I gotta ask a question. What do you mean by this, Desi Bryant? What do you mean he only does? What do you mean he only does sparring? James Toney only did sparring. James Toney, man, you know one great fight that you guys should watch? You should watch James Toney, Vasily Jirov. That was such a, man, I think that may be my favorite fight of all time. He said, yes, indeed. Glad you're back. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm back. I've been back for a couple weeks now, but definitely got to get people more used to the idea that I'm back and here to stay. No, you're not talking to me. Let me go back. Lawrence RBE. I wonder what that rationale is. Ugas versus Spence doesn't have the same sizzle as Spence versus Manny. Well, here's the thing, man. The rationale is that they took the belt back from the guy. And, I mean, that would just make them, I mean, honestly, that would be one of the biggest shams. It would just their organization look like a complete sham. If they were to strip Manny Pacquiao for not being active, because he was out of the ring for 2 years. And even though, you know, they allow a bunch of people to fight for longer periods. What's his name was out for 2 years and they didn't get rid of that. The Keith Thurman was out of the ring for almost 2 years and didn't do that. Then they didn't do that to him. They still let him keep his belt. But yeah, I don't get it, man. I don't get why they stripped him to begin with. We're in a pandemic, so you have to understand, you know, the difficulties in making some fight, man. Man, Dwight Maxwell said, great show. James Toney is also my favorite, man. James Toney is something nasty, man. Like, James Toney, good fighters from the past that I really, really loved. Like, I was big on Tito Trinidad, Winky Wright. I love Johnny Tapia. Johnny Tapia was a beast. Who else was some other really good dudes? I really like this kid now, this Mexican kid, King Ray Martinez. Ray Martinez, who's down there, man. I always forget his weight class, but I think he's down there at either 112 or 115, some itty bitty weight class, man. Ray Martinez is one of my favorite fighters, just a real gung-ho ass little fighter, man. There's some real fighters. That's the one thing about boxing, man. You get, like, you get, since you don't have teams, you have fighters that you really do have fighters that you really fought, like, I mean, you know, pause on that you fall in love with the fighters, man. Ghost Bomb Squad said, Fannon, Keith was out for a smaller amount of time, and before 2 years reached, he was in the negotiations. Pacquiao was almost 3. Man, let me look. Manny Pacquiao, I got to verify that. Not that for any reason that I don't believe you. But once I put it in, once I see it, then it makes more sense to me. No, man, it'll be 2 years. It was 2 years. It was 2 years last month. Yeah, it was just 2 years last month because they were in July 20th of 2019 and now, but let me see how long it was. It was a little bit shorter of amount of time, though, because he was up. Danny Garcia. Nah, Keith Thurman might have been out longer. No. He was out there a little less, about the same though. It's about the same. Look up at my marijuana question. No problem. Fannon, I don't understand why marijuana is illegal in boxing. It brings you down, relaxes you, doesn't improve performance. What do you think? It sounds ridiculous to me that somebody would get that they would ban marijuana because it doesn't have anything to do. It's not a performance enhancing at all. Why they would do that is honestly is beyond me, man. That makes no sense. I agree. Brandon Felder said Roach is clearly trying to sell the fight in the interview. He also said Crawford needed a few tough fights before fighting Spence. Said he needs better. He said he needs better opponents. Yeah, I'm gonna go listen to that interview again when I get back. But Freddie Roach is just he's trying to sell a fight and he's representing this guy. He's gonna say what he's got to say in order to support him. Like, I'm interested. I talked with somebody about that Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter fight. I hope we get some news pretty soon about that fight, whether that fight is going to get made or whether it's going to go to purse bid. Well, if you watch Spanish broadcast, they all thought Floyd clearly lost. They was hoping that Floyd clearly lost. Floyd clearly, man, to Manny Pacquiao. Will you stop, man? Manny Pacquiao, I don't care what said who. King Tio said Joshua versus Usyk. Who you got? My heart is going with Anthony Joshua, but my mind is telling me that Alexander Usyk's going to cause him a lot of problems. I think I might actually have Alexander Usyk in that fight. I'll look at Alexander Usyk again, but Ty McDonald, broadcast always sounds biased to a point. He beat everybody. Hey, hold on 1 second. Sorry about that, man. My dog was acting a fool. Chad said, who remembers when Pacquiao was thinking about fighting GGG? I think Pacquiao feels great and has some new tricks up his sleeve. Look, I think the best you can hope for Manny Pacquiao is that Errol Spence Jr., that there's something wrong with Errol Spence Jr. But if Errol Spence Jr., this is his second training camp back from that accident, if he is all the way back, and looking strong and doing all of that stuff, man, I'm telling you, your boy is going to be in a lot of hurt, man. A lot of hurt. D Bell in that super chat, man. Much love in that super chat. He said they stripped Manny Pacquiao because he was trying to fight Conor McGregor and not somebody ranked in their top 10. Well, yeah. General Squirrel says Zeus. Yeah, man. I don't know about that. I just think it could have been seriously though, the WBC stripping them didn't make any sense to me. The WBC is like, if I had to rank who's the worst, from best to worst, it goes the IBF, the WBC, the WBA, and then the WBO. And because even though the WBO tried to, because the WBO is just so obviously in Bob Arum's pocket. Obviously, they're doing whatever. They're they got put on by Bob Arum. Bob Arum's keeps champions all up and down that weight division without ranking people, that fight for other promoters. It's just absolutely one of the biggest shams that there is. The underbelly of boxing is just so ugly, man. It's it definitely is the underbelly. You know what I'm saying? Nasty shit hanging off of it. Just absolutely ridiculous, dude. Man, Ray Patterson didn't do very much, man. Chilling, talking this boxing, enjoying being amongst boxing friends. Make sure you guys, like I said, man, hit me up with the questions. I love reading your comments. Dwight Maxwell said, "What do you think of Joe Joyce? Slow Joyce? Man, Slow Joyce is Slow Joyce, and he got real. That fight looked fixed as shit to me, dude. That I'm telling you, that shit with that Carlos Takam wasn't throwing no shots, and it looked like, okay, it's my time to quit. I've done enough. That looked like a fixed fight, man. With Carlos Takam, no joke. Like somebody slipped Carlos Takam some money at like, all right, this is the round you gotta go. This is the round you gotta go. Like, I don't think the most of them, but he's doing better than I thought he would do, you know? Than I was thinking he's gonna do. But he's terribly slow, like terribly slow. His punches are like, how in the world, like if he gets to like I think AJ kill him. Like just too slow for Anthony Joshua. You know, just my man says Sammy the Bull testified boxing is corrupt. Man, boxing is incredibly corrupt. You can see the way that they're working. When does Rigo fight? Rigo fights next month. He fights or early August. Yeah, in maybe like a week. Hold on. I get you right. Hold on. El Chical. Yeah, he fights next weekend. He fights 1 week. He fights 1 week from today. One week from tomorrow. Man, Smooth Groove Boxing in that super chat, man. What do you think is next for Thurman? It's like he's the odd man out. What fight is next for him? I think it's just going to be some type of tune-up fight because I don't see him. I think he may be able to aim at Yordenis Ugas, but Yordenis Ugas is fighting Maidana. But I think it's just going to be a tune-up fight. I don't think there's going to be anybody that's really big that he's going to fight. But he probably needs a tune-up fight. That's what I think. Say, you seen the shape Rigo is in? He be posting on Twitter. He's in shape. Yeah, he stays in shape, though, man. That's going to be an interesting fight against Casemiro. Yes. Rigondeaux is he's fighting Casemiro. The Juicer. Now you know damn well. There's more than enough, it's my dog. And I got dogs and I got a lawnmower guy that is like right in my ear. So if I seem a little distracted for like the next 30 seconds, it's because the lawn people are here right now they're blowing one of them what do you call them? I guess leaf blowers. Yeah. Kenneth Johnson, did you know the bite force of an Antonio Shepard before you purchased Zeus? No, but damn, it's big. God damn. Let me tell you, man, my dog will literally eats bones. Like, eats the bone. Like, I got this big cow bone, and he literally eats the fucking bone. Like, I thought they ate the scraps, or whatever, and nibbled off the cartilage. This motherfucker has a bone like this. Man, the bone's like this big. I sit there, and all of a sudden you hear crack. Like, what the fuck? Dude, his jaws are like bananas, dude. Bananas. Dog, he eats like the legs like chicken bones, like that shit is amazing to me. Hey, much love in that super chat, man. Tion Bynum in that super chat. Okay, having a fun fantasy debate. Canelo versus Mike Tyson, if at the same weights. Death for Canelo. Canelo slower than this is death. 21-year-old Mike versus Canelo today. Oh, how do you think that fight plays out? Knockout. Mike Tyson gets him out of there in, I don't know, 3 rounds, some shit like that. Just going to be a slaughter because 21-year-old Mike is ridiculously fast. And you're talking about at heavyweight. So I'm bringing Canelo Alvarez up. Canelo Alvarez is going to get hit, dog. I give Mike Tyson that all day, man. It's called the money. He said, why does TMT keep spoon feeding Tank? It's called the money, man. It's called the money. They're spoon feeding their wallets with that kid. And it is what it is. But, you know, Tank's a really great fighter, man. Excellent fighter. But he's in a situation where they're using the Mayweather tradition, you know? Yeah, he's faster. He's also a better skilled boxer. I mean, that style from Canelo, that just seems like that'd be a lot of problems. Mike was nasty before he lost Customato and kind of got off and, you know, started doing different things. And you know what I mean? Because Mike hit his prime real early. But an early Mike Tyson definitely gets him, man. Joe Joyce cuts off the ring better than anyone I've ever seen. That means a lot in the ring. Less work for a slower big fighter like Big George or Joyce. Yeah, Joyce is huge. Also, he can cut off though. He's one of the biggest heavyweights there are. I mean, just an absolutely massive dude. So I guess when his punches land, they must be thudding, you know. Am I concerned for Errol and Manny? No, man. Not at all, really. Honestly, man, I'm like surprisingly relaxed. Like, because as I see the fight playing out, I really see I see Errol Spence steamrolling him. I mean, the most likely, as I look at that fight, the most likely outcome that I could see is Errol Spence Jr. is fighting his fight, then Errol Spence Jr. is going to win. Just because that style is going to cause a lot of problems for Manny. And Manny, I don't believe the power, dog. I mean, I believe him at his power at the end, but at the end of his punches. But I don't believe it like that. And he was getting hit way too flush by Keith Thurman. Dwayne Moore, what are the odds Crawford's fights a top 10 welterweight before 2020? Much love in that super chat. About a 22. About. I think it's about 70%. I think it's about 70%. Man, that damn dog. Yeah, it's about 20. Hold on one second. Nah, I think they're gonna end. Hold on one second. Sorry about that, man. Trying to get this dog to act right, man. Let me back up a little bit in the comments. Hey, man, by the way, we got 300 people in the building, only 200 likes. Can we get the likes up? It would be greatly appreciated. Manny going to touch him in the first half of the fight? I don't know, man. I think he's gonna touch him. The problem is it's not Manny Pacquiao touching Errol Spence. That's the issue. The issue is Errol Spence touching Manny Pacquiao, because that is a very, very consistent train moving down the rails, you know? Do I believe, Steve Taylor said, do you believe the Crawford Porter fight happens? Yeah, I believe it happens. I'm leaning towards it. That's why I'm saying, that's why I answered this question. I would give it like a 80% chance, because I think more than likely that they're gonna fight. I think more than likely they're gonna fight. Yeah, Ty McDonald said, thank you. I honestly believe he's going to walk Manny Pacquiao down. Yeah, and that's not a style that people have seen Manny Pacquiao. I guess that's where they're saying that there's an Antonio Margarita thing, where Antonio Margarita was going to walk him down. But dude, Antonio Margarito was hurt, was already just come off a loss. You know, and he came off of bad losses too, because Shane Mosley knocked him out. Once he didn't have them padded gloves, it was it for him, you know? So I think that's a different scenario all around, you know? Musa Hamka. Are YouTube fights hurting boxing? The media is marketing them more instead of investing in real talent. Oh, these dogs. Yeah. I don't think that they're hurting boxing. I just don't think that they're doing anything for boxing. You know, because the mainstream media really doesn't. Man, look, Fahim Satur. Oh, and by the way, Musa, I don't think that it's hurting it. I don't think that the YouTube boxers are hurting boxing. I just don't think I don't buy the line that they're helping it at all, because you're not. Man, y'all, who's over here crying about Canelo? Fannon, stop lying. You know Bud ain't fighting Porter. Look, man, I think he's fighting it. I'm 70. He's not going to drop the belt. Because he has nowhere to go. He's not going to drop the belt. And I don't think the man is just a blatant coward. You know, the dude, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying I believe the fight is going to happen. Now, because I don't know how how he can get out of making the fight. Like, I know for certain he didn't want to fight Sean Porter. Like, and that is telling. The fact that that he made him go to purse bid. He's like, yeah, well, exercise your mandatory, then I'll fight him. That was some like, what? Exercise you, yeah, become my mandatory, then I'll fight you. Like, obviously, dude, you'll fight me if I become your mandatory. I don't see it, because it's not like he's Canelo Alvarez who can drop the belt. Like, if it was Canelo, if he was in a Canelo Alvarez situation, then he could just drop the bite. He can just drop the belt. I'm gonna love this comment right here. Why do you discredit Canelo on fighting anybody? Act like y'all's favorite boxers fighting champions almost back to back and are undefeated in different weight classes. Who the fuck is the people that fight Canelo suck? Billy Joe Saunders sucks. Do not care what belt he held. Okay? Do not care. Saw how he got the belt. Do not care. Callum Smith, don't care if he had a belt. He sucked. He's Callum Smith. Get the fuck up out of here. Okay? Yeldemir. Is he a champion? Yeldemir? No. Yeldemir was a paycheck. I'm sorry, dude. But I will say that Errol Spence Jr. is fighting champions, without a doubt. And they were almost back to back. Weren't they? And some are undefeated. So what? They suck. You're not going to get that Euro bum bash that Canelo Alvarez is on is exactly what it is. It's a Euro bum bash. It is. Nobody's asking for those type of fights. Oh yeah, Callum Smith. You really think Callum Smith is the same fight as Demetrius Andrade? He's not. Okay? He's not the same level of fighter, dude. But, okay. Tell me the shit don't stink, okay? Canelo Alvarez ain't fighting nobody, all right? He's not fighting anybody. He did fight a Kovalev that was already got beat. He was already beat down. Already beat down, had been knocked out, and beat down and been knocked out multiple times. But, okay. Rocky Fielding. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're trying to make people forget. Like, these are the champions you're talking about. Okay? Or people you're talking about. Yeldemir, Rocky Fielding, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders. That shit is as whack as what Terrence Crawford's doing. Seriously. Callum Smith got that out. You know what Callum Smith got his belt from? Basically a European tournament. A European 168-pound tournament is how he got that belt. Know who he beat for that belt? George Groves. Whoop-de-doo. He beat George Groves. Dude, and this is not the beginning of Canelo's bum bash of Euro. He beat his brother, for God's sake. Beat Liam and Callum Smith. Sorry, man. It's just, his shit sucks, okay? Let me look at this. Let me look at him. Canelo Saul Alvarez. Come on, man. Come on, Saul. Saul Alvarez. Billy Joe, Yeldemir, Smith, Kovalev, Fielding. You have a Daniel Jacobs in there, though. But in the last 2 years, Billy Joe, Yeldemir, Callum Smith, Sergey Kovalev, Rocky Fielding. He had Gennady Golovkin in there, but before that, then he had a Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Callum Smith, Amir Khan, an old Cotto, James Kirkland. Dude, on the truth, he's been fighting a lot of crappy fights for a while. But that's just my opinion, Xavier Martin, man, what's going on, Xavier? Said if we're going to judge Callum Smith on how he became champ, then we need to pull that on everyone. I mean, I'm a Devin Haney fan, but who he beat to become champ? Yeah, that's fair enough. I don't have to bring in the champion shit. You're right, Xavier Martin. Xavier, gong for being correct. I agree with that. So I won't pull that on him. However, I didn't want to see the fight because he had Jamal Charlo and he's got Demetrius Andrade and he's got Gennady Golovkin, all of them at 160 pounds. Dude, I would take the Gennady Golovkin fight again. Now Gennady Golovkin is the one that needs to fight Charlo and Andrade. But it's just funny how that goes, man. What do you say? Jacobs took a dive. Even Clarissa Shields said it. It was like he wasn't even trying. Against Canelo. Hey, you get that money for staying out of the way of it. Could have been, man. So what up, my dude? You are in the East Coast, so it's tough for me to get up early. No, I'm Central. And I know it's kind of a tough time for a lot of people to come to the live streams, man. That's my bad. Make sure you check out the videos that come out in later in the day, man. But I appreciate it. Yeah, I know I'm in a difficult time zone for people to get up. I do, but people out of other countries love it though, because this is where it works for them. Let me see where were we at. Let me get some questions, man, in the comment section, so we can keep this conversation going nice and lively. You guys know your boxing, man, and it is lovely to be in conversation with people that really know their boxing. Crawford beats Errol hands down. I don't think he's trying. Does he even want? Maybe. Whoever's going to win is going to win hands down. I never got that. I'm going to win hands down. You still got to fight. Let's see the fight. Prove it. Prove it. Waiting for Canelo. Going to have cats 35 without legacies. Ugh. So, Fannon, since we know Plant ain't getting the fight, do you think there's any way Bivol can win against Canelo? No. No, I do not. No, I do not. No, I do not. Unless he can somehow wind up hurting him and knocking him out, I think Canelo's going to get the benefit of the doubt by the judges' scorecards. Okay. Winston Johnson. Can you please give me a take on Shakur Stevenson? I think Shakur Stevenson is one of the most talented fighters in boxing. I see that he's about to get this Jamel Herring fight. I'm looking forward to seeing the fight with Jamel Herring, but I think he's one of the best fighters. I think he's one of the best young fighters in boxing, and he's going to probably wind up being one of the best, he's one of the best young prospects, because I still consider him a prospect. Even though he did have a title at 130, forgive me for, maybe that's being disrespectful from him, calling him a prospect. But yeah, man, I just think he's an exciting fighter, highly skilled. Love him fighting out of the southpaw stance. He's got very good defense, very good, excellent foot movement, footwork, has a good amount of power. Not as much, starting to get his man strength a little bit and starting to get bigger and stronger. But yeah, I think the world of Shakur Stevenson. Aaron Harrison said, Fannon, if the WBO is owned by Top Rank, it's not owned, but I get your point, and ordered the Porter fight, doesn't that mean Porter is avoiding Crawford? No, it means the exact opposite. It means that Porter pushed on the WBO to get the fight, and because Porter approached Top Rank about making that fight. So if Top Rank owns or controls is probably the better word to use, controls the WBO, that tells you that Top Rank went on ahead and went with it. Now, the reason that I think that they're doing it is, yeah, I saw that shit. That shit's hilarious. So I think Bob Arum is trying to put Terrence Crawford in a bit of a bind and make some money on his fights in case he wants to leave in case he wants to leave. Only the Funk. Much love in that super chat, man. He said, peace, Fannon. Do you have any undercard fights you are looking forward to. Mint went and got the book When the Irish Became White after you mentioned it. Hey, man, that's pretty interesting stuff, ain't it? Undercard stuff. Hold on one second. Because, I don't commit this to memory. But, yeah, hold on. Let me see something. There are some fights. I'm looking forward to Adam Kwanaki, Robert Helenius 2. I'm looking forward to Ife Agagbe versus Frankie Sanchez. And I'll take any fight with Jared Anderson. I'm looking forward to the undercard on the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury Tyson Fury. I think that's going to be a really good undercard. Let me see. I don't know if there was anything on the Errol Spence. Hold on one second. Man. Okay, I don't know anything about what the undercard is. That's crazy that there's nothing out on the undercard for that. But yeah, I'm not sure what the undercard is. I think that not an undercard fight I'm looking forward to is Guillermo Rigondeaux versus hold on a second. I think Guillermo Rigondeaux's got some good fights on his. Let me check it out one second. Oh, he may be actually. Yeah, Antonio Russell is going to be the undercard of Guillermo Rigondeaux, and then Rasheed Warren. They're the undercard for the Guillermo Rigondeaux, John Rail, Casamayor card. That's going to be a nice undercard too. To be able to get Rasheed Warren and Gary Antonio Russell, I like that. And then again, I like the heavyweight undercard on the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight. And much love in that super chat. Yeah, those ones are really, really good. So Cy Gray said, since losing to Jermell early in his career, do you believe Harrison Lubin can come back and become a force from 147 to 154? Absolutely. I think he is already a force, and I think he already is. I would have him as my number three ranked 154 pounder. I don't think that he's ever going to make it down to 147. But yeah, man, absolutely, I think he can be one. Boss Future, Andrade and Jamal resume sucks. But why do you think they're pound for pound? Don't get it. Tell me 3 good fights they fought to their credit that make them great. Dude, look, man. Do you know boxing or do you not know boxing? If you know boxing, then sometimes you look at the fighter, you see what the fighter is capable of doing, and then you know. I've got Terrence Crawford in his pound for pound, and who the fuck has he fought? Seriously. I just went down Canelo Alvarez's resume. Canelo Alvarez has a bunch of tin cans on his resume with the exception of Gennady Golovkin and then a loss to Floyd Mayweather. Right? And he lost to Erislandy Lara. Dude, look at the guy fight. Otherwise, you're telling me that a guy can never be considered good as long as people keep ducking him. No, there's a reason that they're not fighting him. Look at the guy fight. Look at the guy fight. You want to go to BoxRec and stare at BoxRec. Like I said, when I do that to Canelo, it doesn't look too good for Canelo. I'll repeat. Canelo can't be pound for pound because look at all the people that he fought. Canelo, Saul Alvarez. If I look at Saul Alvarez's resume, and I think he is a top pound for pound fighter. I'm not saying that he's not, because I know what I'm looking at. Billy Joe Saunders, Mr. Yeldemir, Callum Smith, a washed-up Sergey Kovalev, Daniel Jacobs, who's been knocked out multiple times, or who had been knocked out before, Rocky Fielding, and he's got a Gennady Golovkin win, and Gennady Golovkin didn't fight anybody. Who did Gennady Golovkin fight? Nobody. So everybody's a nobody unless you know who they are stuff flies in the face of pretty much everybody, you know? Just telling you. You can literally walk down. What are you laughing at? I'm answering the bro. Tell me 3 good fighters they fought? No. I'm not going to tell you 3 good fighters that they fought. Because you're going to tell me that they're not good. Why am I going to waste my breath? Yeah, let me go do what you say. Man, get the fuck out of my face. I'm going to tell you that what you're trying to get me to do is bullshit. Because I can look at a whole bunch of people and go down their resumes and say, who is this guy? If I read you Juan Carlos Estrada's resume, who was he fought? Do you even know who he is? You know what, dude? You're gone. Bye. Laugh your way out the fucking chat. I'm giving you straight information. It is possible to look at fighters who have had multiple championship title defenses. Look at what they do in the actual ring, and then judge from what you see in the ring what they will do. It was nice to know you, though. To discredit Charlo and Andretti is just stupid, just like the clowns that discredit Canelo. Y'all need to respect these fighters more. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I've got with Canelo is I don't like that dude is kind of a prima donna. But I'm not saying that he's not a great fighter. He just tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. Yeah, that shit is irritating, dude, because literally that's the cheapest thing that you can do. Tell me 5 fighters that Canelo Alvarez has fought. Tell me 5 world-class fighters Canelo Alvarez has fought. And I can shit on every one of those fighters. I guarantee you. Because you're going to act like they're not the best in the world. And since they're not best in the world, you don't get any credit from morons because you beat them. You know? Anyway, it was nice seeing you. I'm trying to do less blocking, but I don't have a problem blocking, especially when I'm telling you something that you know makes sense. Is it just me, or do you that the Texas friendship between Charlo and Spence will stop a great matchup? I think Spence beats either. I don't know, man. That's an awkward fight to be made, man. But look, if they're in the right place to do it, they need to do it. Much love in that super chat, man. Thank you so much, man. Said it looks like Bridgerweight's a thing now. What are your thoughts on it? Also, I can't send super chats on my main account for some reason. Yeah, I don't know, man, but I appreciate you sending the super chats. Look, Bridgerweight ain't real, man. Bridgerweight's not going to be real for another 20 years. Because it takes a while for people to really accept a weight class. But, they started the WBC. Like, Mauricio Suleiman and that WBC just don't give a fuck about they just don't give a fuck about keeping things consistent. I hate it. I hate it. Why so now Muhammad Ali's a Bridgerweight. He's not. Now I got to have stupid conversation. I'm telling you, I'm slapping the first person that seriously tries to convince me that Muhammad Ali is not a heavyweight, that he's a Bridgerweight. Because it's up to 225, and he did not weigh in at 225. They're going to call all these heavyweights from the past a bunch of bridgerweights. Shit is ridiculous, dude. Or have a bunch of people blowing up unnecessarily big so that they can weigh in against a bridgerweight. I don't want to say, I almost said something I would have regretted, so let me not do that. Thomas Dillamuth said, Canelo fought a few top guys, but struggled with really good boxers like Mayweather. He got a gift decision versus Lara. Lara won that fight, in my opinion. I agree 100% that Lara won that fight, man. Desi Bryant in the building said, is Jamal moving to 168 for Plant, and why is he chasing Canelo so tough? Canelo's the money, and they're the same size. He wants to get the big money fight, man. That could be a $10 million fight. That's how much Canelo and these are guys that probably get $1 million, $2 million a fight to be able to get 10, 12, and then have a potential of pay-per-view and have potential to beat them and then really drive their value up. You know, they're trying to do it. Get off the Muhammad Ali nonsense. Yeah, Muhammad Ali's too small. Muhammad Ali would never beat Anthony Joshua. No, he'll never beat Anthony Joshua. He would have never beaten Vladimir Klitschko. He can't beat this guy. These guys can't beat those guys. Like they didn't have big-ass dudes back then. Fannon, I know how you try to read all the comments. Much respect to you, bro. Fannon, I like how you try to read all the comments. Much respect to you, big bro. Hey, man, my pleasure. My pleasure, man, and thank you guys for leading the comments, man. Ghost Bomb Squad said these governing bodies is more concerned with the percentage they get than consistency. They do whatever makes them more money. They exactly. So they put in another weight class. Like another weight class. Another weight class to think so that some just fuck out of here, dude. Like it's cruiser. It's just, why don't you if anything, just move the weight shit up for cruiserweight and make a bigger cruiserweight division. That's all you have to do, but you don't have to make, they're making a whole nother weight class so they can have 4 more championship belts. 4 more championship belts. Though they got 1 championship belt and they're the only ones that have bridgerweight. So if you're a bridgerweight, you're going to be paying the WBC and that's it. Yeah, he was like 6'3", 230. But I think he came in under like 6'2", 220s or whatever. But see, what they're not now, if Ali fought now, he'd be 6'3", he'd be listed as 6'4", probably be fighting around 240 pounds for all the weightlifting guys are doing, because they didn't do any weightlifting back then. Chad, who do you think would win between Porter and Tim Bradley, both in their prime? That would be a badass fight. That's a very good fight, but I take Porter. I'll take Sean Porter. I think Tim Bradley might be a slightly better fighter, but I think Sean Porter's size and his like really aggressive style, I think that would win it. But that would be a tough fight. I mean, for real, that's a pick'em fight because neither one of them have a lot of power. Neither one of them have a lot of power. But Porter's gonna make it. Porter's gonna make that fight real ugly, dude. Said Ali beat big fighters up. Not one of these fighters today would have ran out the ring. Man, he beat that guy. He beat a 6'4" and a 6'5" and 6'6" guys. I know he fought several guys that were that tall. You know, but 6'9" and 6, I mean, advise me. I think Muhammad Ali didn't go after the body enough in his career. Look, Muhammad Ali, you can't shit on the man's career. He had the best career in the history of heavyweights. I guess you could look and say what anybody could do more of, But when a guy has 2 title reigns like that, a 9 years as the heavyweight champion of the world in the 1960s, and then has 9 title defenses in the 1960s, and then another 9 title defenses in the 1970s. I don't think that you could really, really pick apart his career too much. You know what I mean? It's just somebody that really has. I'm just telling you, something different. But look, I'm gonna get up out of here today. Look, I'm definitely gonna be here a little bit later tomorrow. We'll probably go longer tomorrow. Much love to everybody in the chat, everybody in the super chat. Thank you guys for coming by, and checking me out. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the way out the door if you've not already done it. And with that, you are a fucking moron. 9 title defenses against nobodies. Look, dummy. That shit is, see this? Stupidest comment of the day. How many Hall of Famers? You realize how many Hall of Famers this man beat? Against nobodies. You would, because you don't know him. Anyway, it is what it is. With that, I'm out. Peace. I'm not telling you shit, man. You say dumb shit, I ain't explaining dumb shit.